let's move on to kind of the other big team in the Big Ten, and that's the Penn State. 11-2 a year ago, kind of a quiet 11-2. Like they had a really good year. They finished with a Rose Bowl win, but it kind of felt like they were never really in the national title hunt past a certain point of the season, and we kind of forgot about them if you weren't paying attention. Numbers set at 9.5 this year. Now they lose Sean Clifford after 13 years of quarterback. Ha ha. Drew Alar is the guy now. We all know, like the former 5-star, bazooka for an arm, looked kind of smooth, like in early spot duty last year. Franklin has done a good job too of building the roster to a point where it's probably not Michigan or Ohio State roster level, but it's right there. Like, and
right.
if Drew Alar is the truth, like they absolutely can win the Big Ten, I believe. Great running backs, right up there with Michigan and Ohio State as far as having just an excellent running back pair, Nicholas Singleton and Katron Allen. Good offensive line. The receivers are kind of unproven, but could be good. Their run defense needs to improve from last year, but they really believe they have a great defense this year. Really good linebackers, still have great corners. Kalen King is still there. Yeah, like there's not a whole lot to not like about this Penn State team.
With the number at 9.5, this feels easy. Like, is this one an easy one for you? This was a snap over for me. The schedule, by the way, especially in the non-con, is pillow soft. Like, we don't think that West Virginia will be very good this year. Yeah, and like we're not really big on Delaware or UMass either. So, like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say that I think they go over. I think they cruise to an over. You mentioned 11-2 a year ago. Drastic improvement for them. Well, and I was able to see them live last year. I was able to go to the Auburn game, which was really impressive. Like, if from the Penn State point of view, how solid they were in the trenches. Auburn had really good offensive and defensive lines last year. That was kind of maybe people didn't talk about. And Penn State was significantly better. I think that's hard to do. I think that does prove something. Your only two losses were to Michigan and to Ohio State last year. Yeah, I think they're maybe a little overlooked. It is Drew Alar. I don't know if have you listened to much of him this offseason? I've been listening to him quite a bit, just some podcasts and stuff that he's been on, just trying to get a feel for who he is. Because if he does pop off, like, Penn State is a legitimate playoff threat. Like, they could be that team. And yeah, like it so much depends on a young quarterback, which isn't great, but I do think that the defense is so good. And the offensive line, the running backs are so good. He won't need to be great for them to hit the over. He would need them. We would need him to be great if we wanted Penn State to go to the playoff, if that makes sense. But I think the over is almost a certainty.
I agree with you. This was easy for me. Looking at their schedule, Ohio State and Michigan are clearly the two toughest games on there. I don't know if they're going to lose those two games or not, but I do know that they can lose both of those and still go over fairly easily. So I'm on my third consecutive over, which feels wrong. Like, it's scary. I'm taking the over on all three of these teams. But it could very conceivably happen. They could literally all just lose to only each other and all go over. Yeah. So it feels wrong. Like I said, probably won't come true, but I'm not sure which one I would take to go under. You took Ohio State to go under. I think they could all three go over.
Do you know what would happen if, say, they do like the round robin where each one loses to, everyone ends up at 11-1 at the end of the year with a loss to one of the other three? Because they're all in the East, right? And we're all trying to go to the Big Ten championship game. Do you know any tiebreaker scenarios there, or is that I don't actually know?
Yeah, I'm not sure what that would come down to, but it'd be interesting for sure.